Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, let's go, let's give them a show. We're riding in a wonderland of snow. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, it's grand, just holding your hand. We're gliding along with the song of a wintry fairyland. Our cheeks are getting rosy, comfy and cozy are we. We're snuggled up together like birds of a feather would be. Let's take that road before us and sing a chorus or two. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather.
Welcome to Talking Pictures on Christmas Day. And here we are, we're talking films with Cliff. We just watched a clip there of Sleigh Ride from the new album, which is great. I mean, lovely Christmas album.
Well, the record company wanted me to do one because I hadn't done one for so long, but I needed to do something new as well. So I just said to them, look, I'll pick out 10 songs I like. Can I send you a couple of new ones? And when I did, I just got a note back saying they're on the album because they were good. One of them was written by Chris Eaton, who wrote Saviour's Day for me. And I can't remember exactly who wrote the other two, but anyway, they're two new ones. And so it's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure. And I got great help from two different producers, Mike. One of them he produced the rock and roll stuff on it. And the other guy did the more orchestral stuff that's on it. And it was such a thrill. And I wrote on the album, this is not entirely my album. This album belongs to everybody that helped me make it. Because the vocal chorus is good. It was fantastic. Great, great, great experience again.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Holy, holy, holy night. Hear the angels singing out. Rocking around the Christmas tree. Have a happy holiday. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Who knows whether this gentleman is going to be number one or not?
Well, I can't expect that sort of thing anymore, but did I expect to be fighting with Stormzy in the charts? No, I didn't think I would. I thought it was going to be one of these great new young singers, these girls and guys that come along, they're really good. But it turns out it was me that's made him run for his money. But it's been fun. I really enjoyed the fact that I've made it to number 2 at my age. I just didn't expect it ever to happen. So it's been a really, really fun time. And I hope that he sees that I have not at all, have no animosity to him at all, because I know what it's like to be number 1.
Who wrote Heart of Christmas?
Heart of Christmas was written by a guy called John Hartley. I think he had a partner that worked with him, somebody else who, I don't know what parts they played, but he's done things for me before. And the minute I heard it, it sounded like a hit. But of course, nowadays, I don't think we release singles to be released because people don't buy records anymore. But it's released so that people like yourself, if you like it, you might like to find out where it came from, which is the album, and therefore you can start selling some albums. So for me, it's another dream, really, because I thought that I'd finished it being on the top of the charts. But now the last 2 years, my last album got to number 3, and this one got to number 2. So maybe next year.
Who knows? Who knows? Well, Talking Pictures, I mean, obviously show films by some great actors and actresses of whom you've worked with quite a few. Starting with Serious Charge, I mean, you're just a kid.
Hey, young man. It's all fixed for Monday.
Thank you, Vicar, and thank you for today, too.
All right, it's all part of the service. But I'd like you to come and see me tomorrow. No, it's all right. I shan't preach to you and make you pray. Just want to sort out some of the facts.
Thank you.
Okay. Come on.
Watch me shimmy to a solid beat. The doll's real pretty, but she's too sweet. I kiss her once and then I take my feet outside on the street again. I wasn't born on on a cold December night, brought up in a shack. I feel a mean, mean child since the day I run wild, and now there ain't no turning back. Not know how, there ain't no turning back.
Now listen to me. Officially, I'm a man of peace. But if you bunch don't throw down those ornaments of yours on the table there right now, I'm going to give myself the great pleasure of throwing you one by one through that window. And believe me, it's quite a drop.
We were just going in here.
Yeah, sure you were going. But not carrying any of that cutlery to help you settle scores in a dark alley on the way home.
How about it, fellas? Come and do what he said. Whose side are you on anyway?
On yours, only you don't seem to know it. How about you, Curly? No contribution to put on the table?
I wasn't carrying anything. Straight I wasn't.
Good. I'd hate to start something on your behalf and then not want to finish it.
Good night, Vicar.
Right?
They call you Curly, get you in early to curl your hair.
Yes.
They could have called you another name.
They could have changed my name, I know, but they didn't. But it was interesting because it was slightly frightening in that I'd started in 58, in June. I was still 17, and I made Move It. And then everything started to happen for me really quickly. So by the end of the year, we said, oh, let's do it. And I turned out I had to be curly, and I had to have my hair permed every day, or curled every day.
And you were working with people like Anthony Quayle, Sarah Churchill, Andrew Ray. I mean, those were big names.
I know. They wanted to work with me. No, I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, funny enough, I entered the studio in a pile of nerves, having never been before a camera in a movie before. But I've thought back often that I was so grateful that my ex-English teacher made me join this drama society in school. And so therefore I got a little bit of, I could hardly call it acting, but in front of people. But the director was fantastic. He just said, look, just do what you do. We want you to be naturally you, but you got to say these words. Unfortunately, I didn't really have to say too much. It was mostly singing. And of course, the big thing that came from it was Living Doll.
Which originally was a rock and roll song.
Yeah, it was a sort of, as Tommy Steele would have been able to sing the original demo better than I would. It was a bit, boom, got myself, and it seemed a bit fake. And we were in Sheffield on a tour when Bruce Welch with the guitar sat there. He said, we've got to do this as a single because we haven't read the small print and we have to release it as a single. And he said, what about if we do it, got myself a crying? And we all said, that's the way. Even then, Mike, we weren't sure about it. And then it went to #1.
And then you were.
Well, no, because you could never, funnily enough, I've always said that people like Bruce Welch of The Shadows, we always say he's got a good ear because he could hear a hit. I don't think anybody can hear a #1 because only the public make it #1. So in the end, in those days, you'll probably remember, you could be a hit in the top 20. You can get to the top 10 and sell 250,000 records. It was a big sales in those days. So that we lived our lives going, oh, this could be a hit, hoping it would be #1. We don't talk anymore. When I did that, I said, it sounds like a hit, but I can't honestly say that I knew it was going to be #1. None of us know that.
And you had a second film, Hard on the Heels, Espresso Bongo, where you had the very uncool name of Burt Rudge, a.k.a. Bongo Herbert.
Bongo
terrible names.
I know.
But again, you're working with big names in this film.
Lawrence Harvey.
Lawrence Harvey, yeah.
And there was a lot of girls, the famous girl.
Sylvia Sims.
Sylvia Sims. And it was fantastic. Again, I really liked that, doing that one after Serious Charge, because I'd seen the show. And in fact, they took me to see the show, having asked me if I wanted to be in it. Once I saw the show, I thought, this is fantastic. It'd be great to be part of this. And the funny thing is, even though I am totally unknown almost totally unknown in America, I sometimes say, I was in Espresso Bongo. Oh, Espresso Bongo, I thought I recognized you. That would come up. And the funny thing is, it became in America a kind of a hit, but only by those who watched classy black and white movies, because Lawrence Harvey was in it, Sylvia Sims, and I was introducing Cliff Richard.
If I didn't have my bongos to work it out on, I'd flip my lid.
Isn't there anything else you like better?
Well, it's a motor scooter. Not a motorbike, a red scooter.
With Cliff Richard, singing tomorrow's Tops of the Hit Parade.
My heart was so heavy with longing for you. My arms were so lonely lonesome and blue.
But it was, I mean, you know, the onus was never on you. The pressure on those two films was on other people. Then suddenly the young ones came along, and this is your film.
I know. They asked if I wanted to be in the movie. I said, oh yeah, I'd love it. And then they said, well, of course it'll be starring Cliff in the Shadows. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. Then the pressure's on. You're absolutely right. On the first two movies, it didn't matter whether I was bad, good, or indifferent. It was all about the other artists, the other stars. So suddenly Young One was thrown at us, and I was a bit wary because I'd been successful in those films, but I was only being introduced in them. Suddenly it's going to be, the posters are going to have the shadows of my name plastered all over the place. And so therefore we thought, well, look, we've got to be as good as we can be. And it was still a matter of learning. I didn't know how to dance in those days, and I still don't know how to dance, but they helped me learn to move. I used to go in every morning, 6 a.m., with all the dancers from the show, and stretch with them and everything. And I can fool most people to think I'm dancing. Not anymore, but I used to be able to do that.
But that sort of created the gang, really. Richard O'Sullivan, Teddy Green, who was a dancer, and Melvin Hayes.
Yeah, and Una Stubbs.
Yeah.
See, they were, it was a fantastic team. And you know, Michael, I've always thought this, even after that, when I started to realize I'd gained some success, you know, I did pantomimes at the Palladium, and I've always thought since those early days of filming that we need to be a team. So when we had a big break between the matinee and the evening, I'd hire a film thing and put the screen up, and we'd all have coffee and watch a movie together. And it makes such a difference, because when you get on stage, even though you're playing strangers, you're not. You know, you get a look now and then, and it's fantastic. And I've done that right the way through. When I did Time, I used to take the cast to the cinema on Leicester Square, the Odeon, and we'd take our pizzas in there and watch a midnight movie. Well, they put it on for me. And that sort of thing has stuck with me. Even my band and I, we live together when we're on tour. We go to the same restaurants, we stay in the same hotels. And I feel that's been a great, great thing for me. I've always been well supported. And when I do a show, I usually say, I once got written up as a one-man show. I said, it's impossible. I could not even be here if it wasn't for these people doing the lights and the sound. I couldn't be anywhere on my own.
And people always forget the people you work with. I mean, young ones, Robert Morley, and then in Summer Holiday, people like David Kossoff, Ron Moody. These were great actors you're suddenly thrown in with.
But it helps, though, because they know what they're supposed to do. And the thing is, because they do that, you can't help but respond in a similar way. Whether I was anywhere near as good as they were, it moves you, it pushes you to be right. And they were always very, very, like Lawrence in Bongo, I had a line to say, and it was, it was part of not the Two Eyes, but some bar area, and they had those games where you could fire the gun. And he said, I said the line, he said, okay, can you cut? He said, Cliff, don't say the line then. Do it after you've taken aim and shot, and then say it. And it made all the difference. And I thought, these guys are really pros, but they're concerned about me being right. And so I got a lot of help everywhere, all the way along the line. I feel that I've been really blessed by people who are willing to help you raise your standard.
Come abroad with the young ones. All you have to do is to catch a number 9 bus from Piccadilly en route for Paris, Switzerland, Austria, Yugoslavia, Greece, and what a wonderful summer holiday you will have.
We're all going on a summer holiday. No more working for a week or two.
In the driver's seat is Cliff Richard. On the upper deck, stowaway Laurie Peters, and he's a girl. And who wouldn't stow away on such a summer holiday with such companions? Here they are, the wonderful Shadows, and that adventurous gang of young stars who made the young ones the top attraction of 1962.
Everything they say about women drivers is true. Of all the stupid, idiotic, dangerous. I'm zero. I love you, 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 I love you. Am I boring you?
Just for the record, I've loved you ever since I was a little boy.
All at once, it's you. it's you for me.
Wonderful Life, Susan Hampshire.
Oh, she was fantastic. I can tell you this now. We went to make her, she's going like that. And I said, what are you doing? She said, I look a bit too thin, so she pushed cotton wool so she could push her cheeks out a bit. And she looked great. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's unbelievable. And that's how she acted. Now, I've not had to do that, but even then, it gave me the insight into what these actors, what they will do to make it right. In some cases, people just go on massive diets and become skinny. And, you know, Russell Crowe must have worked really hard to be in Gladiator. He looked unbelievable, like he's been gym work all the time. So, although I've never been able to say, I can't say I've made a movie like Gladiator, I'd like to have tried. I can't do it anymore.
I can think of nothing better than dancing on the beach.
Imagine Cliff Richard as the stand-in who becomes a director. Imagine Walter Slezak, the director who gets stood up by a stand-in.
I want 200 more slave girls flown in by Sunday. I don't care. You tell head office that when I make a picture and not a snapshot.
Imagine lovely Susan Hampshire as Cliff's new girlfriend. They're in love in just a matter of moments.
For it takes all kinds of people working together to make this whole world go round.
It takes all kinds of people to make a movie, so strike up the arcs, strike up the music, and see what happens when Cliff and the gang take over a film unit in the exotic Canary Islands.
Do all the things that you do in your dreams, and you see it's so wonderful life.
Finders Keepers, I think, was the next one with Vivian Ventura, yeah. and again, you know, other luminaries in there as well. You're working with John LeMessurier was in there, wasn't he? An odd storyline about looking for a bomb. I mean, really weird storyline.
The Americans had lost a bomb somewhere, and then somebody wrote the script. It wasn't my best movie, but it had some of the best music I've sung in a movie, and it was, I thought it was okay, but. It was the point when I started to think they're using us because we're famous. The Shadows and I had millions of record sales. And in the end, you know, after Young Ones and Summer Holiday, the things that came in were not really fresh and new. And so in the end, I said, well, I'm not going to do any more movies. I think that's one mistake that Colonel Tom Parker made for Elvis when he signed the contract for, what, 20 movies?
Yeah.
Made a lot of money, but some of them were really not, Elvis was not right for them. They were not worthy of Elvis. So I slowly pulled back from that.
Then he went in a different direction with Two a Penny.
Well, Two a Penny was because I was doing it for Billy Graham. And they said, we'd like to find someone who has a faith to do a movie. And then they asked me if I would do it. I was thrilled to do it, actually. And that's probably the best acting I've done. Now, I don't know how to rate it, but I got totally into it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Shake it up, baby. Twist that sound. Shake it, baby. Come on and work it on out.
England's top pop star Cliff Richard twists and shouts in Two a Penny.
I have a chance to turn this over.
Fitch's money.
But thinking about it quite calmly, it's not really his until I hand it over.
A new Cliff Richard.
Round isn't over till you get back with the money.
Shallow, selfish, perfectly charming, hurling his defiance at the world in Two a Penny.
You're right. I'll get some help.
No! Don't do anything.
There was one scene, I don't know if anybody has seen it, but it's quite a while back now, and the director said to me, you're going to be with Billy Graham. It wasn't for the movie, although some of it was shot for the movie, but he said, you're going to be talking there. What we'd like you to do, I'm going to give you 6 orders of what you should do with your face, or how you're thinking. And he said, and the minute you take that card out of the pocket, the cameraman will start. Well, I was so nervous. And it would say, take a look around and say to yourself, what an idiot this Billy Graham is. I can't wait to get out of here. So I did. And I got messages back from fans saying, how could you behave like that at a Billy Graham crusade? I had to explain, I was doing a movie.
Two a Penny is a feeling. A young man who believes the world owes him and that's all he believes.
Where did I come from? Why am I here? Where am I going? Those are questions that young people are asking in their most serious moment.
Look
you cannot
at him,
come to Christ.
taking it all in.
Listen, he's got his Bible, he holds it up with the tips of his fingers like this. Looks like a waiter, he does. But what a menu.
And it just interested me that movie, I felt, was the first time that I felt I was really not bad.
And Dora Bryan was in that.
Dora Bryan was in it, yeah.
British Academy Award winner Dora Bryan as Cliff's doting mom.
What's going to happen to me if the doctor finds out my son's a thief? You bring someone up, you look upon them as your son, you work for them, you give them your life, but...
It's not as bad as all that, Mom.
Standing there, you're somebody who's not my son.
It was a really good movie, I thought it was anyway, but it was made strictly for, because it had a Christian content, like my girlfriend in it says, Jamie, you want too much from me, and didn't want to give in to me and my desires. And then in the end, she becomes converted by Billy Graham, and of course he's absolutely shattered.
And it introduces a new face, a refreshingly honest talent.
Jamie!
Young, enchanting Anne Holloway.
Me. You're a fraud, Jamie Hopkins, a stupid, empty fraud. I've got so much to give, and you're just settling for a dirty little fumble in the dark.
Every time you open your mouth, you sound like you're standing on a soapbox.
There are animals like you on every street corner. Hungry little nobodies. The supply always exceeds the demand.
To a penny, a decidedly different story of love.
Take Me High, I mean, the last big film, A Romp. Richard Wattis was in it.
Yes.
Wasn't he? And George Cole.
George Cole and Anthony Andrews.
Yeah, and Debbie Watling.
Debbie Watling. Anthony Andrews made, what was it, TV stuff and all that. Great actor. And we had a hate in the show. You know, I didn't like him, he didn't like me. And there was a very famous actor who long ago died. And it was one scene I loved, I wasn't in it, where he shot the TV to death because somebody said something bad about him on the TV, and he went, no. And I thought, what's going on? I didn't think the film was great, but I thought it was good. I kept thinking to myself, this is probably better for a TV evening rather than out on the big screen. So that's the time I sort of decided not to do it anymore. I kept saying to myself, I'd rather make one good album than 10 bad movies. And that was the danger. If I'd continued, I think I wouldn't have been able to keep it up. So I just went back to what I know I do best, and it's worked for me.
So Cliff, great stuff. Well done on the album. Thank you very much. Have a great Christmas day.
Oh, you too, and Happy New Year.
We shot a special video for Cliff's new single, Heart of Christmas.
The streets are glistening with lights, and hearts are full of hope and love, while children carol silent night. Can you hear them? The air is getting cold outside. The snow is falling from above. All is calm and all is bright. Come adore him. Holy, holy, holy night. Hear the angels singing out. Unto us a child is born, Jesus, the heart of Christmas. So set your eyes upon the star, with glory shining all around, as families from both near and far come together. The shepherds gather round him there. Listen and you'll hear the sound. The song they sang in Bethlehem is forever. Holy, holy, holy night. Hear the angels singing out. Unto us a child son, lift your voices and sing.